Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakahakwadash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who ruled and teach well. In peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. Shabbat Shalom. This is the brother Ra'aya with another lesson, and in this lesson, I'll be profiling an article from the economiccollapseblog.com titled America in 2024. And of course, Apostle Tahar has deemed 2024 the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. And from the start of this year until this present day, things just continue to intensify. Biblical prophecy continues to come to its fulfillment. And what we're about to go into in this article is just another example of that. But America in 2024, fast food is a luxury. 11 million children live in poverty, and thousands of stores are closing. We are currently living in the economic decline of the United States of America. Inflation is rising. More and more people are getting into debt. More and more nations are moving away from the U.S. dollar. And eventually, this U.S. economy is going to collapse. And it's going to be hell to tell the captain out here when your average everyday American realizes that the powers that be have pulled the rug from underneath their feet. Little by little, our standard of living has been eroding. A couple decades ago, we had the largest and most prosperous middle class in the history of the world, but now most of the country is struggling. At this point, fast food is considered to be a luxury. 11 million children are living in poverty, and thousands of stores are permanently shutting down all over the United States because consumers have so little discretionary income these days. We are in the midst of a historic cost of living crisis, and those at the bottom of the economic food chain are being hit the hardest. The ultra wealthy don't really care that food costs have been soaring, but for those that are barely scraping by from month to month, it makes an enormous difference. Now check this out. Once upon a time, fast food restaurants were where those that were struggling went to eat. But now, fast food is considered to be a luxury in 2024, and that is because fast food prices have gone absolutely haywire. A Big Mac sandwich at McDonald's, for example, cost $3.99 in 2019. And hey, you shouldn't be eating McDonald's anyway. Hey, that's not beef you're eating over there. That's that Frankenfood. And really any of these fast food chains. Now that price has more than doubled to $8.29, according to fast food menu prices and online tracker. Gone too are the days of the $5 footlong at Subway. A BLT footlong that cost $5.50 in 2019 now costs customers $8.49 in 2024, though prices can vary by location. Additionally, Chipotle's beloved chicken burrito that cost $6.50 in 2019 now runs customers $10.70. And I'm sure a lot of you have seen these prices rising. Hey, just as I've seen these prices rising, from food to toiletries and other amenities out here. Hey, it's quickly becoming unaffordable for the average everyday American out here. And that's a part of biblical prophecy. This is Revelation chapter 6. I'm going to start at verse 5. And this is dealing with, the so-called four horsemen of the apocalypse, which are just symbolic for different things that would be taking place during the last days. Revelation 6 verse 5. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, Come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. And when we go to that word penny in the Strongs, it's G1220, denarion. And in the outline of biblical usage, it reads denarius, containing 10, a Roman silver coin in New Testament times. It took its name from it being equal to 10 asses, which was another Roman coin that first started off being made out of bronze and then later copper. Why? They debased the currency, just like the US dollar's value is being debased right now. And the United States of America is Rome all over again. A Roman silver coin in New Testament times. It took its name from it being equal to 10 asses, a number after 217 BC increased to 16, about 3.898 grams or 0.1375 ounces. It was the principal silver coin of the Roman Empire. Think about it like the US dollar today. From the parable of the laborers in the vineyard, it would seem that a denarius was then the ordinary pay for a day's wages, because back in the ancient world and even in the laws of the scriptures, a man was paid the very same day for the work he did. It was unlike this wicked system we're in right now, where a lot of people get paid every 2 weeks. So, let's reread that again. A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. People spending their whole wages just to get a little bit of food. And as we clearly saw, even with fast food, the prices are going up to where it's becoming quickly unaffordable for the average everyday American out here. And, again, not just fast food, but, regular groceries at the grocery store, mid to high-end restaurants, etc., etc. Fast food executives have pointed to rising wages and increased costs for ingredients as factors driving up the prices on their menus. And why are those wages having to be risen? Because the U.S. government continues to print more and more dollars, which inflates the currency, which lowers its value. And a lot of this is all by design, because the true, rulers of America, the powers that be, the elites, such as the Rothschilds or the Rockefellers, they want to foreclose on the United States of America. So it doesn't matter that we're coming into a presidential election, because both sides, are 2 wings of the same bird. Presidents aren't elected, they're selected. And whoever the elites, put in power, which with the way things are looking, we'll have to see if we even make it to an election. It's not going to change, the demolition of the United States of America. And this is ultimately through the will of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai to fulfill prophecy and bring judgment on America for all the wickedness it's been committing. I'm sitting here looking at those numbers, and I still can't wrap my head around them. I never imagined that I would see the day when it took more than $8 to buy a Big Mac. That's insane. A different survey that was recently conducted by LendingTree discovered that almost 80% of all Americans believe that fast food is a luxury item now. Hey, a measure of wheat for a penny and 3 measures of barley for a penny. Nearly 80% of Americans now consider fast food to be a luxury item as families feel the squeeze from the Biden regime's failing economy. According to a survey from LendingTree of around 2,000 adults, what was once considered an affordable option for low-income workers is fast becoming the opposite. Meanwhile, the number of American children living in poverty continues to increase with each passing day. If you can believe it, we are being told that over 11 million U.S. children are now living in poverty. More than 11 million children were estimated to be living in poverty in 2021, according to U.S. Census Bureau data published by the Children's Defense Fund. That equates to around 1 in 7 children in the U.S., or 15.3%. It's a high toll, and one even higher than the adult population, which was 10.5% for 19 to 64-year-olds that year, and 10.3% for adults aged 65 plus. And hey, expect to see not just children, but more and more people of all age groups become more homeless out here as the situation continues. You're having a lot of people that have jobs, multiple jobs, that are living out of their cars or homeless, and a lot of people are having to face tough decisions. They can't pay, all their bills at once. They can't pay rent, gas or food, credit card debt, all that stuff. People are having to decide which ones they want to default on, which is just going to put them even deeper in the hole. Yeah, I'm just read around in this article to hit the main points. Today, approximately 40% of the entire country is considered to be either living in poverty or among the ranks of the working poor, and 42 million Americans are on food stamps. We now have an absolutely gigantic underclass that is largely made up of people that were once solidly middle class. The rapidly rising cost of living is just shredding families from coast to coast. All right. Small businesses are being monkey hammered by inflation as well. In fact, one recent survey found that 86% of all U.S. small businesses say that they are being hurt by inflation. An overwhelming majority of small business owners say they are being hurt by rising costs. The new survey released Wednesday by small business network Alignable shows 86% reporting being hurt by high costs, with only 6% saying they are thriving and not struggling. Alignable surveyed more than 3,000 business owners from mid-April to mid-May and found that they overwhelmingly lament the burden of inflation. And we know that back during 2019 to 2021, a lot of business owners were just completely wiped on the floor due to the situation. And on top of inflation and the possibility of another situation like that coming, more L downs and talks of the avian sneeze increasing. Hey, these business owners, just like a lot of your average everyday Americans, are at wit's end. Dollar stores in particular are being hit really hard by rising costs. For example, 99 Cents Only has decided to close all of their stores because conditions have changed so dramatically. For years, dollar stores were a fixture in nearly every strip mall in California, offering cheap household goods, bread and produce, and even toys and gifts. But it seems like your favorite dollar store is heading for the exit. You're not wrong. 2024 may be their swan song. In April, California-based 99 Cents Only announced it was closing all 371 locations after decades in business. The retailer blamed economic factors including rising levels of shrink inflation and shifting consumer demand that has presented significant and lasting challenges. Not to be outdone, Dollar Tree has announced that it will be closing about 1,000 stores. Dollar Tree, which owns Family Dollar, recently said it will close nearly 1,000 stores. That's after Dollar Tree raised prices in the past couple of years for the first time in decades. Overall, so far in 2024, retailers have announced that they will be closing nearly 3,200 stores, and we haven't even reached the midpoint of the year yet. The retail industry is going through a tough time as it copes with inflation-weary consumers and a rash of bankruptcies, prompting chains to announce the closure of almost 3,200 brick and mortar stores so far in 2024, according to the new analysis. That's a 24% increase from a year ago, according to a report from retail data provider CoreSite, which tracks store closures and openings across the U.S. The final countdown for the U.S. economy has begun, but most Americans do not even realize what is happening. But hey, they're going to realize very soon. But that's it with this article. Hey, but again, this is just another example of biblical prophecy continuing to take place right before our very eyes. Let's get back to these precepts. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 12. I'm going to read verses 3 to 4. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and when you go to the online etymology for that word economy, it means housekeeping. So what is this talking about? The keepers of the house being these different economists and those that, are knowledgeable in that system. And you can see that a lot of them are starting to sound the alarm on all this debt out here and this cost of living crisis and inflation. And the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders or workers cease, because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. People looking out of the windows, just like Michael Schneider, who wrote that article, and can see that things are looking bad out here, that there is going to be no Make America Great Again or Great American Rescue Plan. This American system is irreparably broken, and it's only going to continue to deteriorate until it fully collapses. Verse 4, and the doors shall be shut in the streets. The doors of these different businesses closing because these different businesses are closing down shop. When the sound of the grinding or working is low, and it's a whole host of reasons why businesses are going out. Because what? It just costs too much to run a business. So what? They can't afford to pay their workers, so they have to let their workers go. And then what? With those workers not having jobs, they can't go to these other businesses to pay money on it with what little money they have after it's just continues to lose its value, which causes those other stores to shut down. And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. But now I'm going to close it out. In Isaiah chapter 24, I'm going to start at verse 7. The new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth, all the merry-hearted do sigh. And when you've got a rising number of children in poverty, people in all age groups in poverty, business owners shutting down, just fast food becoming a luxury item to a lot of Americans now. Hey, people aren't in that mirthful spirit like they used to be in before that whole situation in 2019 to 2021. People are living paycheck to paycheck out here, wondering what bill this month am I not going to be able to pay just so I can keep the lights on or keep food on the table for me and my children. The mirth of the tabrets ceaseth, the noise of them that rejoice endeth, the joy of the harp ceaseth. They shall not drink wine with a song, strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. And over the last couple of years, when they do these different polls, they see that an uptick in drug abuse, alcohol abuse, and suicides are increasing in the United States of America. People are no longer indulging in alcohol and recreational drugs to, have a good time, have a good weekend after a long, hard day of work. People are turning to these things to drown out the misery of their lives that they're currently living in. The city of confusion is broken down. And in the Hebrew, Babylon means Babel or confusion by mixing. And the United States of America in the scriptures is known as Babylon the Great. So the city of confusion, the city of the United States of America, is broken down, which we can clearly see. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. Again, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. A lot of these different businesses, closing down and laying off their workers. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. There's a crying for wine in the streets. And that's talking about understanding. You've got these people out here turning to all these different sources to try to find answers, to see how they can prepare for the collapse or try to find some semblance of hope that things are going to go back to normal. But the only place you're going to find the true answers of what's going on is through the men of the Lord, the prophets of the Most High, chiefly through GMS or Great Millstone, as well as the men coming in the spirit of GMS who are looking at these current events and going into the scriptures to filter them through the scriptures to let you know exactly what is taking place out here and what's going to happen from here on out. All the joy is darkened, the mirth of the land is gone. Point blank, period. So that's it with this video. And with this video, I hope you sincere Akim and Akwath were edified. Hey, just keep strong. As we can clearly see, we are almost out of the final wicked captivity of these heathen nations, chiefly of these Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharallah, and until next time, Shalom.